Quentin Tarantino will probably be ranked among one of the greatest film directors of all time, but not because he is one, mostly because of reinforced conformity or entrenched groupthink. Unless some strong voices call out the Emperor's new clothes, and I doubt I will make a huge impact, Quentin Tarantino will probably remain one of the greats. It's the kind of praise that feels automatic. Decades of hype and fanboy devotion drowning out any real debate about his actual merit.
What are you doing?
Hey, don't do that.
Don't do that again.
I'm not saying Tarantino hasn't done anything great. For instance, he can clearly write great dialogue. Those punchy, quotable exchanges are his calling card.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
He's black.
Go on.
He's bald.
Does he look like a bitch?
What?
But does he make great films? That's where I start to question the myth. What is a great film? That is subjective naturally. For me, I feel like it has to feel original. And while there is nothing wrong with paying homage or being inspired while standing on the shoulders of giants, sometimes Tarantino copies more than he creates something new, especially visually and in terms of choice of soundtrack. His camera angles scream Scorsese, his soundtrack lean on retro vinyl vibes, and it's all very cool, very deliberate. But none of this is a secret. Tarantino admits openly this.
And, you know, there's a whole story about this Hong Kong movie, City on Fire. If you've ever seen City on Fire, it's very, very different from my movie. The section that they say I took, I did take from it, all right? Absolutely I took from it, all right?
He's proud of raiding cinema's attic. But I wonder, does that make him a genius or just a really good curator? I think mostly what makes a great film is if I feel an impact while watching it, and if it stays with me once the film has ended. Some of Tarantino's films does this, but most of them does not. Too often, I'm left with a slick scene or two, but no lasting echo, just a fleeting buzz that quickly fades away.
Because I know about film history, and film directors do not get better as they get older.
Let's go through all his films in detail and you'll see how each film is worse than the next. Tarantino is basically digging himself into a hole. What starts as raw promise slowly turns into a formula that's more style than substance. His first film was great, there's no doubt about it. Reservoir Dogs from 1992 is a lean, mean crime flick. Grubby suits, a botched heist, and that warehouse standoff dripping with paranoia. And something true about Tarantino is that regardless if his film is good or bad, it always has at least one scene that is memorable. But is one scene enough? For his later films, it isn't. But considering this was his first film, I'll let it slide. It's got that indie grit, a hungry director swinging for the fences, and mostly it lands. His second film is much better, I think, even if its structure is a clear rip-off of Stanley Kubrick's The Killing. But that's not something negative. Pulp Fiction from 1994 takes that scrambled timeline trick where the heist unfolds out of order and runs wild with it. Vincent Vega, Jules, the briefcase, the diner hold-up, it's a mosaic of chaos that somehow clicks. John Travolta's comeback, Samuel L. Jackson's Bible-quoting hitman, Uma Thurman's twist dance, it's iconic wall to wall. I just think it's a shame so few have seen The Killing, and you really should if you haven't. Kubrick's 1956 gem is a taut black and white heist noir. Sterling Hayden plotting the perfect score. And it's the blueprint Tarantino jazzed up with 90s flair. Without knowing Tarantino's supposedly 10th final film, Pulp Fiction will probably be his masterpiece. With his third film, we kind of get Pulp Fiction all over again, and it's an enjoyable film, but it's starting to become a bit bland now. Jackie Brown from 1997 has Pam Grier as a smooth-talking flight attendant, dodging cops and crooks.
I put a cherry on top. Booyah!
And Robert Forster's quiet charm as Max Cherry steals all the scenes. The money swap in the mall, shown from multiple angles, keeps you guessing. And it's clever, sure, but the non-linear spark feels dimmer, the energy less electric. It's a solid crime caper, but it's coasting on Pulp Fiction fumes, missing that wild, unpredictable edge. His fourth film is Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and this is a visual feast but has an uninteresting plot and no emotional connection to any of the characters. Once you go past the look and style, there's nothing there. Released in 2003 and 2004, Kill Bill is a two-part revenge epic where Uma Thurman's bride character is slashing through enemies in a yellow tracksuit, blood spraying like a geisha. The anime sequence, the Crazy 88 fight, the Pai Mei training, it's a love letter to kung fu flicks and grindhouse gore. But the story? A checklist of kills with no weight. I don't care about the bride or her targets. It's all surface dazzle. A comic book with no soul. His fifth film is Death Proof, and it's the worst rated in his filmography, but I actually disagree with this. I think Death Proof is a great film. I prefer it above Kill Bill, perhaps even more than Jackie Brown. I think it's underrated. Death Proof is part of 2007's Grindhouse double feature with another film by Robert Rodriguez. And it's a slow burn slasher film with Kurt Russell's stuntman Mike stalking women with his death-proof car. The dialogue drags at first, but then the car chase hits, and it's crunching metal and Zoe Bell clinging to the hood, and it's pure adrenaline. It's got that grimy B-movie heart that Kill Bill's polish lacks. And I love a good B-movie. Critics trashed it, but I would rewatch it. More so than Kill Bill's Rampage any day. Tarantino's sixth film has an amazing opening sequence, and when I saw it the first time I thought this is going to be an amazing experience. But sadly, the rest of the film was a slog, and frankly, neither funny nor interesting. Inglourious Basterds from 2009 kicks off with that farmhouse scene, and it's a masterclass in tension. And I was all in. And then it sprawls into a Second World War revenge fantasy. Brad Pitt's scalp hunting crew, the theater showdown. It loses me. The bastards feel cartoonish, the humor is flat, and the pacing is off. Waltz is brilliant as the Jew hunter, but the rest of the film is a chore. His seventh film was atrocious. I really do not think big Hollywood stars fit with Tarantino's style. I think it's much better when he has used has-beens or former big stars or well-established supporting actors that take the lead in his films. When Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio or Jamie Foxx and people like that become the star of his films, there's something off about it. I don't think they act well in his films, not as well as they maybe do in other projects, and they don't fit within the Tarantino universe. I cannot exactly explain why that is, but it just feels wrong to me. Django Unchained from 2012 is a bloated slavery revenge tale. And it seems with Tarantino that most of his films are about revenge. I mean, rarely does he have another kind of plot device. And Jamie Foxx plays the freed gunslinger and DiCaprio a hammy plantation owner. The shootouts are loud, the blood flows, but it's a tonal mess. Too self-aware, too star-heavy. Fox feels stiff, DiCaprio overcooks it, and it lacks the raw vibe of, say, Travolta's washed-up charm. It's Tarantino trying to go epic and tripping over the spotlight. His 8th film is even worse. The Hateful Eight, 2015. In this film he traps a bunch of liars and killers in a blizzard, and he lets them bicker and bleed for 3 hours. The widescreen cinematography is gorgeous, the Ennio Morricone score is haunting, but it's a stage play on screen basically. It's talky, claustrophobic, and pointless. The mystery unravels way too slow. The violence feels rote, and by the end, I just wanted to get out of that cabin. It's the only one of his films I only saw once.
Because I know about film history, and film directors do not get better as they get older.
Finally, his 9th film, that some has claimed to be a great film for some reason, is a complete failure. I do not understand why people like this film at all. It's boring, tedious, and uninteresting. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from 2019 is a love letter to 60s LA. But if you don't live in LA, I mean, who gives a fuck? Leo plays a fading actor, Pitt is his chill stuntman, and Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate. The Manson stuff looms, but it's mostly meandering nostalgia, TV cameos, old billboards, and some party at the Playboy Mansion. The climax is good, but getting there takes way too long, and once you get there, you don't really care that much. The film looks good, but it's empty. And apparently Tarantino will do a 10th film.
So I don't know what the next story is going to be. I'm imagining it'll be more epilogue-y. Like, this is the big one, and then whatever I end up doing for that last one, like I said, a bit more of an epilogue, just as you're wrapping up the career.
And will he redeem himself? I actually hope he does. You know, I'm not hating him because I don't like him or anything like that. I'm just judging the films. But he probably will not redeem himself. It probably it will be another revenge film of some sort. Tarantino is too locked into his bag of tricks. The non-linear cuts, the retro tunes, the gore gags. He can't climb out now. And I'd love to be wrong, but the slope's been downhill far too long. Here is my tier list of Tarantino's films from worst to best. Now, worth mentioning is that the best films he ever did, indirectly, are True Romance and Natural Born Killers. I love these films. They're well made, they're interesting, they're emotional, and they leave a lasting mark on the viewer, and it's the films I've seen more than any of his other films. But he did not direct any of them. He just wrote the story. True Romance from 1993, directed by Tony Scott, is a lovers on the run riot. Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette are dodging mobsters with a killer cast. It's a great film. And then you have Natural Born Killers from 1994, directed by Oliver Stone, and it turns Tarantino's story into a psychedelic spree. Mickey and Mallory's murder rampage, cutting it deep into media and madness. In a sense, a very political film. Maybe that's why Tarantino didn't like it, but I did.
Shit, man. I'm a natural born killer.
Both Natural Born Killers and True Romance hit hard. They linger, and it's proof that Tarantino's pen is way sharper than his lens. And maybe that's what he should stick to. That is his strength. He should write scripts, not direct films. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just trying to inform the world that the Emperor has no clothes.